we don't know what's going to happen with their administration, blah, blah, blah. And they just want to get out from under that very dark, it's a hateful energy, what's coming out of there, you know?
So, Robin, Laura is an absolutely fascinating creature. I mean, she's wealthy, she's successful, she has this very enviable life and career and family, but she doesn't really seem entirely content. What's going on with Laura?
Well, Laura has the perfect life, the most pristine, can do no wrong son. And because of her loss in her life in the past, she basically becomes very overprotective of her son. And when the girlfriend moves into his life, their life, uh, there are some suspicions that arise in mom, and she just doesn't feel she's right for him.
She definitely, I mean, protective is one word. I mean, possessive might be another way of putting it. I mean, her relationship with Daniel, as you say, who's a kind of perfect son, is a little bit weird, isn't it? There's this term boy mum, which refers to these mothers who are kind of overinvested in their sons' lives. Do you think there's a little bit of that going on with Laura?
Oh, yes. Yes. It, yeah, there's some perversity that people will, I think, have a guffaw moment or two. Um, and it's because it's a dual perspective show. You do need to have both characters be extreme in certain aspects of their woman.
Yeah.
And it's basically, you know, they're fighting for the love of the same male.
Yeah.
And it's who's going to win and why can't they do it together is the big question in the series.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who I'd put my money on so far. I think it's a pretty fair fight between the two of them from what I've seen so far. I mean, you mentioned the perversity, Robin, and I have to say, the one thing that struck me initially was what a racy show it is. I mean, Daniel and Cherry have quite a racy, hot relationship, but Laura also has a very modern marriage. I mean, it's an open marriage. I think it's okay to say that here. Do you think that that's a kind of realistic picture of quite an increasing number of marriages now?
That's what I hear. I don't know. Is it big in this country?
Yeah, it's getting there. Well, certainly according to the Times.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
We like to publish as many pieces about open marriage as we can every week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's of today, um, and the fluidity of it all, and basically go be happy if
Do you
you
think it
can't
would?
get it at home.
Do you think it would work for you ever?
No, no
Why
way.
not?
It's just not in my nature. It's not my core, you know, ideals, ethos of life and relationships. I'm just like,
Don't want to share.
I just wouldn't be comfortable. And I don't know how it works when it works. I think it's a certain breed of a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to unpacking how theirs goes and the rest of the show. Robin, I know that the show was filmed in London. Am I right in thinking you are based here now too? You're in the UK.
Well, we just finished post-production. So I've stayed in the UK we finished shooting last October. And then we just started post right away. And so we just kind of wrapped, and I'm just taking a breather right now. And it's also the press is now.
Okay. So it's not a permanent move to the UK so far?
Um, you never know.
Okay.
What's great about being my age and directing and acting, a lot of the work is over here anyway. I've worked here mostly for the last 3 years. American productions that have shot in the studios in the West outside London. And I hope that continues because I really love working over here. I've worked in Portugal and Spain and Ireland, good crews. Not that American crews aren't good, but I feel like I've found my team and they're all UK based.
Well, we are very happy to have you. So, as far as I'm concerned, stay as long as you like, Robin. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
There does seem to be, a bit of an exodus of Americans coming to the UK right now, either for holidays or staying quite a lot longer. I mean, what do you think is appealing about the UK and Europe to Americans right now?
I mean, I only know for me personally, I've heard a lot of stories, as I'm sure you have, about people just saying America is such a mess and we don't know what's going to happen with their administration, blah, blah, blah. And they just want to get out from under that very dark, it's a hateful energy, what's coming out of there, And I think people feel that. And when you come here, it's so tranquil. I'm out in the country, which I love. People just, they don't care. They don't care who you are. They are nothing but kind, thoughtful. And there's something really peaceful about being around that with all of the ugliness going on in the world. And it is one of the most beautiful countrysides I've ever seen.
Does it feel a sense of relief for you to be in the UK rather than the US right now?
Yes.
When you were on House of Cards, Robin, I do want to ask you about this because I know you ended up exec producing and directing on that as well, but kind of in a roundabout way because they said they could only pay you the equal amount to your co-star if you took on 3 jobs, essentially. Does that kind of nonsense still happen now?
We still have to keep up the fight. We have to keep amplifying the truth, which is not just in this industry, it's every industry. And I hope that it starts to run the gamut and picks up some traction and the younger men that are getting into business that will become the replacement CEOs or whatever of companies start to see that this is the future. And equality is equality. You do the same job, you should get paid the same amount. So I think it's just breaking an old code, and that takes time.
Yeah. Do you think that in any way there's been a little bit of a sliding back since 2017 and Time's Up and the Me Too movement?
Sliding back in what sense?
Well, there was progress made in lots of ways, and that perhaps there's been a little bit of a regression in the last few years.
I truly don't know because I haven't been back to America very much. So I haven't been very insular with what has been the 2 steps up, 4 steps back, if at all. I know the strike that occurred right after COVID in Hollywood definitely put some pressure on the facts. Just it's factual evidence. And I think we just have to use that as our template because it's the truth.
But the way in which you ended up, as I said, exec producing and directing on House of Cards in order to be paid the same would you say it was kind of a blessing in disguise because you discovered directing, which then you discovered you absolutely loved?
It was a gift, truly a gift. And it was my camera operator, who's no longer with us. He was so great. He was with us for 6 years on the show. And he was about 20 years older than I. And he was the one that suggested, because he said, you're over next to me at the camera every possible chance you could get. And you're asking me why that lens, why a dolly move versus a. And he said, why don't you've learned so much in the 3 years being on this show. Why don't you just go for it? Just pull the trigger. I will help you. We've got the whole team here who have known you for 3 years. and we will help you. And they did. And I learned a lot. And also on that show, it was really interesting to be a novice director, and I was restricted. And that was a beautiful challenge. And the restrictions were because David Fincher set the style of the show, and it was very specific. We couldn't use certain cameras or lenses, couldn't move the camera very much, no steady cams. And it was a nice challenge
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be locked in a box that was very fixed, the style, but it absolutely was apropos to the show.
I mean, Claire Underwood is one of the, I think, one of the greatest creations of all time in terms of dramas. Do you miss her?
No.
No.
No, I missed her high heels, some of her dresses.
Yeah, that was a wardrobe. Yeah.
It was a great wardrobe
Yeah.
that we got to build. Actually, it was great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, last time we met, which I don't expect you to remember, it was a decade ago. In fact, almost exactly a decade ago. I came to Baltimore when you were filming House of Cards there, and you were just launching your sleep collection, your sleepwear collection in Selfridges. And we were sitting drinking rosé in the Four Seasons in Baltimore, and it was the summer of 2015. Obama was still president. You were still playing a first lady. I mean, it seems like a different world ago now. Do you think, if we'd have had any sense of how the next decade was going to pan out, that either of us would really have believed it?
No, but funnily enough, when we were on the show, the writers would call advisors in Washington, D.C. and say, hey, is this too far-fetched, or would that be plausible if that had happened? And we're talking just lunacy that we were trying to bring to the episodes. And 9 times out of 10, they would say, no, all that sounds very plausible. That would happen. And you're like, wow, really? I remember one guy said, he goes, it's DC is worse than Hollywood.
In
Oh,
what
wow.
sense?
Lies, deception, all the things. It's talk about insular. DC feels very insular. It's a clique. Those that work under the administration in whatever shape or form.
Yeah.
It's heavy duty. It's intense.
Did you spend quite a lot of time there when you were filming in Baltimore and kind of like, living in that drama that was very political?
We really didn't. I think probably a handful of times over the 6 years did we ever go to DC to shoot exteriors. Everything was shot on a stage outside of Baltimore.
But I mean, it is funny to think about it, because as I was saying, it was the last year of the Obama administration, and I think probably, certainly to me as an outsider, DC felt like quite a shiny world where you wouldn't have believed that level of sort of deception and lies. I mean, when I think about compared to now, I mean, there are people running politics now who make their ruthlessness makes the Underwoods look benign. It really does. Do you think that makes it easier or more difficult for dramas to be extreme?
Sure. Yeah, the content of life has escalated to a point of just shock and disbelief, like you say, and look at all the content that we have to choose from as a viewer. And I think we came across that on The Girlfriend, trying to find, you need to hook them. And the way you do that is with those aha moments, or those incredulous, oh, I can't believe she did that or he did that. So we were always looking for something fantastical and shocking. Because there's so much competition out there with how racy shows can be, or psychological
OnlyFans.
thrillers, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look at Killing Eve. Like you couldn't get more. It's a great show, but you were like, wow, how are we going to top that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But this
Well,
one's more like a psychological, I want to say a naughty word, F with your head, in the sense of, well, wait a minute. That character did, that action, or that circumstance that they put themselves in, I could see myself doing that. Most people have said that when they watch the show. It's like, yeah, it's not so far out. Like I could see doing something like that if I was put in that position. And it's a fine line because we don't want to go too far out of the box. So that when you're watching the perspectives each episode, you're like, I'm kind of on her side.
yeah.
And then you may take the other party's side in the next episode and say, well, I'm definitely in favor of mom versus Cherry or Cherry versus mom. And
Yeah.
you're going to flip back and
Yeah.
forth.
Well, you say about sort of imagining that you would do those things. I mean, you also have an adult son yourself. I mean, were there moments when you were filming this that you were kind of thinking, well, that seems a little bit extreme of Laura, but I get it as a mum?
Absolutely. You have that sixth sense as a mother. And if you have these needling suspicions of there's just fabrication of truths, or are they lies? Is she deceiving, or is she really a good girl and Laura's just being too hard on her? And is Laura paranoid? Or seriously feeling as a mother that this could be very destructive for him, this relationship? That she has ulterior motives. That's what mom thinks.
Okay.
And the other one thinks she's too overly possessive with you. You're basically a young man and she treats you like you're 12.
Yeah. And there are lots of secrets as well, aren't there, that kind of get unfolded as you're going along.
Yeah.
Robin, I do have to let you go in a minute, but I wanted to just compliment you on your pronunciation of naughty with a hard T. You have obviously spent your 3 years in England so far very well.
Oh, thank you.
What are the other great British phrases which you have now folded into your vocabulary since being here?
Well, they're dirty, so I can't say them on the radio. But my favorite one though, for when you're like, when they just go bollocks. I
Yeah,
love
we might
that
have
one.
to bleep that one. We might have, yeah. we
Okay,
might have to bleep
that's
that
pretty
one.
dirty. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any like mainstream.
You don't have any polite British phrases that you've learned? Well, I mean, I would say then time
yeah,
very well spent. Time very well spent.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know what I really noticed versus the British, I guess it's etymology, it's where and why you use that word. I love that you guys say, so I was sat there and she brought me a cup of tea. We would say, so I was sitting there and she brought me a cup of tea. So you use the past tense because it was in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone is always bringing us a cup of tea, obviously.
And someone's always bringing you a cup of tea. That's why I had to put that in a sentence.
Robin, it's so lovely to speak to you. And next time we
You
speak,
too.
we're going to do it. We're going to do a late night version in which you can give us all of your filthy British phrases that you've learned.
Cool.
And we'll just go back to back.
I'll
filthy British
compile them.
phrases.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Whiteboard. Thank you, Jane.
So lovely to see you again. Take care.
You too.
Have a good
Bye.
rest of your summer. Bye. Take care.
You too.